Welcome to a journey that promises not just information, but a true transformation. What you are about to discover is a profound shift, a turning point, a powerful wake-up call. Today, we delve into the wisdom of a book that has reshaped millions of lives, revealing the unseen forces that dictate our successes and our struggles. It uncovers why we often feel trapped in repetitive patterns for years, and most importantly, how you can fundamentally change your life by mastering one incredibly powerful element, your habits. The book is The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and its insights may be the most crucial you encounter this year. Every single day, from the moment you wake, you perform countless actions. Some are good, some are regrettable, some fill you with pride, others with regret. Yet, here is the striking truth: most of these actions, brushing your teeth, checking your phone, giving in to anger, procrastinating, reaching for unhealthy food, abandoning your goals, are not conscious choices. They are habits. They are automatic, often unconscious patterns, repeated endlessly. The most alarming part: most people never pause to question, why do I do what I do? This book answers that question with remarkable clarity, power, and scientific rigor. It moves beyond mere motivation, explaining the invisible loop that silently governs your entire existence. Once you grasp this loop, you unlock genuine control. You can stop wasting precious time. You can cease self-sabotage. You can finally keep the promises you make to yourself. You can cultivate new habits, forge real discipline, and achieve lasting success. This is why this message is not just a summary, it is a catalyst for transformation. In this exploration, you will learn the precise science behind habits and how they control you without your awareness. You will discover how to dismantle detrimental habits and construct empowering new ones. You will uncover the secrets employed by elite athletes, visionary CEOs, individuals overcoming addiction, diligent students, prolific writers, and even corporate giants like Starbucks and Apple. You will understand why willpower alone is insufficient and what truly effective strategies exist instead. And most crucially, you will learn how to become someone who doesn't merely change temporarily, but transforms permanently. This is how real learning happens, by engaging with profound content that resonates deeply within you, delivered in clear, impactful language that remains etched in your memory forever. So listen intently, absorb these words, and let us embark on this transformative journey. Lesson 1: The Habit Loop. Cue, routine, reward. This fundamental concept is the bedrock of all behavior. Understand this, and you understand your entire self. Charles Duhigg illuminates how every habit, whether beneficial or detrimental, adheres to a consistent pattern, the habit loop. It comprises 3 distinct parts. First, the cue, the trigger, the signal that prompts your brain to initiate the habit. Second, the routine, the actual behavior, the action you perform. Third, the reward, the outcome, what your brain gains, and why it desires to repeat the cycle. Let us illustrate with a simple example. Imagine you habitually reach for chocolate at 4 o'clock each afternoon. The cue might be the specific time, 4:00 p.m., or perhaps it is a feeling of boredom or stress. The routine involves walking to the refrigerator, opening it and selecting the chocolate. The reward is the delightful taste, the comforting sensation of relief, the fleeting moment of pleasure. Now, here is the critical point: your brain begins to anticipate that reward. So, tomorrow at 400 p.m., your brain subtly prompts, "Where is my chocolate?" And you repeat the action again and again until it ceases to be a conscious choice and becomes an ingrained habit. This principle applies universally: checking your phone, skipping your workout, smoking, gossiping, even your established morning routine. It is not primarily about willpower, it is about these loops. Once you comprehend the loop, you gain the power to alter the routine while preserving the cue and the reward. So, instead of consuming chocolate when stressed, you might take a walk, drink a glass of water, or engage in meditation. Same cue, a new routine, a better reward. This is how you break the loop, by intelligently replacing the middle segment. Lesson 2: craving is the real power behind your habit. This is where our understanding deepens considerably. Most people mistakenly believe habits are simply about repetitive actions. However, what truly sustains a habit is the underlying craving. Craving is that surge of excitement your brain experiences even before the habit begins. It is the subtle anxiety your body feels until the action is performed. Revisit our chocolate example. You are not addicted to the chocolate itself. You are addicted to the specific feeling you intensely crave before you consume it. That fleeting moment of peace. That specific taste, that brief escape. Companies understand this intimately. Consider toothpaste. Did you know toothpaste originally did not require foam or mint flavor? Yet, companies deliberately added these elements so your brain would develop a craving for that fresh, tingling sensation. Now, you often do not feel truly clean unless your toothpaste is minty. That precisely is craving. Or observe social media. The cue is your phone buzzing. The routine is opening the application. The reward is a like, a message, a notification. But what compels you to return repeatedly? It is the craving for attention, the craving for dopamine, the craving for connection. Here is the undeniable truth. You cannot master what you crave unless you bring conscious awareness to it. The instant you feel that compelling pull, pause. Ask yourself, what am I genuinely craving right now? Is it truly food, or is it comfort? Is it endlessly scrolling, or is it an escape? Once you articulate the craving, you significantly diminish its power. This is the second crucial step in mastering your habits, understanding the true desire your brain is pursuing. Because once you replace the underlying craving, you begin to break the addiction. Lesson 3. The golden rule of habit change. Change the routine, keep the cue and reward. This lesson forms the very core of authentic transformation. Simply trying harder is insufficient. Most individuals falter in their attempts to break bad habits because they erroneously believe they need more willpower. Yet, this book unveils a far more practical and potent truth. You do not need to eradicate the habit entirely. You need to skillfully rewire it. The cue will inevitably reappear. The reward will still hold its significance, but you possess the power to alter the routine, that intermediate part, which is entirely within your control. Let us consider a compelling real life illustration from the book. There was a man named Bill Wilson who struggled with alcoholism. Each day after work, his routine led him to a bar. The cue was stress. The routine was drinking. The reward was a temporary sense of relaxation. He attempted to quit drinking numerous times, but each time the cue, stress, persisted. Consequently, he always reverted to his old pattern. Then, one day something profound shifted. Instead of heading to the bar, he made a phone call to a friend. They conversed for 30 minutes. He laughed. He felt noticeably lighter, less burdened by loneliness. This was his breakthrough. The cue remained stress, but the new routine was conversation, leading to the same reward, emotional relief. And that, remarkably, is how Alcoholics Anonymous was founded. Its entire structure is built upon this golden rule: maintain the cue and the reward, but fundamentally replace the routine. This principle is universally applicable. If you smoke due to anxiety, substitute smoking with deep breathing exercises or a brisk walk. If you scroll social media out of boredom, replace it with reading a book or journaling. If you consume junk food late at night because you feel an emotional void, replace it with a meaningful call to a loved one. The essential insight is this: you do not conquer habits by battling them head on. You redirect them. Envision it like a river. You do not obstruct its flow. You meticulously dig a new path. You must become a deliberate architect of new routines. Routines that deliver the same emotional reward, but through actions that build you up rather than tear you down. This is the true mechanism of change, not instantaneously, but through consistent, repeated replacement of a damaging routine with an empowering one. Lesson 4: Keystone Habits. The habits that change everything. This might well be the single most potent concept presented in the entire book. Not all habits are created equal. Some habits are so inherently vital, so foundational, that altering just one of them initiates a cascading ripple effect across every facet of your life. These are known as keystone habits. Charles Duhigg articulates that keystone habits are those which automatically ignite a multitude of other positive behaviors. They function like a set of dominoes. One falls, and many others inevitably follow. Let us delve into an illustrative story. Lisa, the woman who transformed her entire existence. In the book, we encounter a woman named Lisa. She was overweight, battling depression, smoking a pack of cigarettes daily, perpetually struggling financially, and constantly cycling through jobs. Her life was, by all accounts, in disarray. Then, one day, after an acutely painful breakup, she made a singular decision: she would cease smoking. That was her only stated goal. She did not declare an intention to overhaul her entire life, just this one keystone habit. Yet, something truly remarkable transpired. Once she successfully quit smoking, she began running. She started waking earlier. She began saving money. She meticulously changed her diet. She applied for and secured a better job. She even relocated to a new city. Within a mere year, her entire identity had undergone a profound metamorphosis. All of this unfolded because she steadfastly focused on cultivating just one keystone habit. Why? Because keystone habits profoundly impact your self-image. When you honor one promise to yourself, your brain internalizes the message: Get I am the kind of person who keeps promises. This powerful belief then permeates every other action you undertake. Let us examine further examples. Exercise is a quintessential keystone habit. Individuals who engage in regular exercise tend to adopt healthier eating patterns, experience improved sleep quality, exhibit less procrastination, and even spend money less impulsively. Making your bed is also a keystone habit. It may sound trivial, but it cultivates a tangible sense of order. It establishes a tone of discipline for the day ahead. Studies consistently demonstrate that people who make their beds are often more productive and feel a greater sense of control over their lives. Maintaining a gratitude journal is another powerful keystone habit. It leads to enhanced mood, reduced anxiety, and improved relationships because it trains your brain to consciously focus on what is functioning well in your life. The unparalleled power of keystone habits lies in this. They do not merely change what you do, they fundamentally change who you believe you are. That is precisely why this lesson is truly life-altering. You are not required to change 100 things today. You simply need to identify one keystone habit and commit yourself to it entirely. Choose a habit you can perform daily, one that feels genuinely meaningful, and one that reinforces your desired identity. Then execute it consistently, day after day, and witness your life quietly, powerfully, and permanently shift. Lesson 5: Willpower is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Most people harbor the misconception that willpower is an innate trait, something you either possess or lack. They utter phrases like, "I simply lack discipline. I cannot control myself. I always give up. Some people are just inherently stronger than me." However, Charles Duhigg unequivocally dismantles this myth. He clarifies that willpower is not a talent, nor is it a matter of luck or some mystical quality. Willpower is, in essence, a muscle. And just like any other muscle, it becomes fatigued when overexerted, but it grows demonstrably stronger through consistent training. Let us consider a compelling example from the book. A team of researchers conducted an experiment. They invited two groups of individuals into a room. Both groups were hungry. One group was presented with delicious chocolate chip cookies. The other group was informed they could only consume radishes. The radish group was compelled to sit there, resisting the enticing aroma of cookies while they munched on bland vegetables. Later, both groups were given a puzzle to solve. It was an exceedingly difficult, almost impossible task. The true measure was not who could solve it, but who would persevere the longest before conceding defeat. The outcome: the individuals who had previously resisted the cookies gave up on the puzzle significantly faster. Why? Because their willpower muscle was already exhausted. They had expended so much self-control earlier that they lacked the remaining energy for the subsequent challenge. This experiment reveals a profound truth. Willpower is finite in the short term, but it expands and strengthens with consistent practice. So, how do you cultivate it? Begin with small, achievable promises to yourself. Do not strive for immediate perfection. Aim for consistent repetition. Examples include making your bed every single morning, without exception. Drinking a glass of water before you check your phone. Writing just one sentence in a journal each night. Taking a 5-minute walk, even when you feel utterly disinclined to exercise. Each time you perform an action you do not feel like doing, your willpower incrementally strengthens. It is akin to weightlifting. The more resistance you push through, the more robust you become. Eventually, your very identity begins to transform. You cease saying, "I am lazy," and begin declaring, "I accomplish difficult tasks." You stop saying, "I give up," and start asserting, "I finish what I begin." Willpower is forged in moments when no one is observing, when you consciously choose discomfort over convenience. When you show up tired but still show up. The distinction between successful individuals and average individuals is not that the former never experience weakness. It is that they have rigorously trained their willpower, transforming it into their secret weapon. Therefore, commence today. Select something small and prove to yourself, "I will do what I said I would do." Repeat it tomorrow and the day after. And one day, when life presents you with a monumental challenge, you will be prepared because you did not passively await strength, you actively built it. Lesson 6, the role of belief. Why you must believe change is possible. This may be the most emotionally resonant and spiritually profound section of the entire book. Charles Duhigg uncovered a startling truth even when individuals fully comprehend the habit loop, even when they master techniques for altering routines, even when they possess robust willpower, they frequently still fail. Why? Because deep within, they do not genuinely believe they can change. They articulate a desire for transformation, but a subtle inner voice whispers, "I have tried before." It never lasts. I am not the kind of person who sticks to things. I will always remain this way. And that insidious belief becomes their self-imposed prison. However, here is the liberating truth. No habit can be permanently broken without belief. Not belief in magic, nor belief in unattainable perfection, but a fundamental belief in possibility. Duhigg elucidates this through the compelling narrative of Alcoholics Anonymous. For decades, psychologists struggled to comprehend AA's efficacy. It lacked official therapy, medication, or a conventional scientific structure. Yet, millions of individuals achieved sobriety through its program. So what was the pivotal differentiating factor? It was not solely the steps themselves. It was the profound belief that change was indeed possible, coupled with the unwavering support of a group that believed in them, even when they themselves could not. AA cultivates a powerful system of belief. Participants are enveloped by others who declare, "I was precisely like you. I failed just as you have. I suffered identically. But I changed, and so can you." That belief, even when initially borrowed, becomes the fertile seed of transformation. And once individuals begin to genuinely believe they are capable of change, they alter their actions. They try again. They persist longer. They exert greater effort because now they are not merely striving for a fleeting result. They are fighting for an entirely new identity. You cannot permanently alter your habits if you fundamentally believe you are still broken. But the moment you declare, "I am becoming someone new," Your brain begins to align itself with that emerging identity. You are not obligated to believe everything instantly. You simply need to embrace one core belief: change is possible. And if that feels daunting, then borrow someone else's belief until it firmly takes root as your own. Observe those who have successfully transformed. Immerse yourself in their stories. Surround yourself with voices that constantly remind you of the person you are capable of becoming. And speak this truth into your own being: I am not my past. I am not stuck. I am not finished. I am becoming. I am not weak. I am training. I am not a failure. I am rebuilding. When belief takes root in your mind, your habits begin to shift. When belief resides in your heart, your life inevitably follows. That is the invisible force underpinning every profound transformation. And that is why Lesson 6 is not merely about habits, it is about hope itself. Lesson 7, your environment shapes your habits more than your willpower. This lesson is among the most revelatory in the entire book, and it shatters a pervasive myth that undermines millions of dreams. You do not consistently rise to the level of your aspirations. You inevitably descend to the level of your surroundings. Most people erroneously believe that habits are solely a matter of self-control. They convince themselves they fail because they are weak, lazy, or undisciplined. However, Charles Duhigg presents a radically different perspective. Your environment, the people, places, sounds, triggers, and systems that encompass you, often exerts far greater control over your behavior than your conscious intentions. Allow me to provide an example that elucidates this entirely: the story of the hospital soap. In a hospital setting, many doctors were consistently neglecting to wash their hands, despite their full awareness of the grave dangers involved. They received repeated instructions. Posters were displayed prominently. Lectures were delivered. Yet, a significant number still bypassed hand washing, and patients tragically succumbed to infections. Then, one minor, seemingly insignificant change was implemented. They repositioned the soap dispensers closer to the entrance of every room. Additionally, hand sanitizer stations were placed directly beside the beds, easily within reach. What was the outcome? Hand washing rates dramatically skyrocketed. Infection rates plummeted astonishingly. There were no new lectures, no additional rules, no punitive measures. Just a subtle alteration in the environment. The habit no longer demanded willpower. It became automatic because it was made effortlessly easy. This is precisely how habits function. If your phone rests beside your bed, you will inevitably scroll before sleep. If unhealthy food is present in your kitchen, you will eventually consume it. If you surround yourself with individuals who constantly complain, you will gradually adopt their patterns of speech. Conversely, if you place your journal next to your pillow, you will write. If your running shoes are positioned by the door, you will be more inclined to walk. If your water bottle is on your desk, you will drink more. You do not have to engage in an internal battle with yourself. You simply need to intelligently design your physical and social spaces. Ask yourself, what is the first thing I perceive upon waking? Is my phone drawing me into distraction? Is my home environment genuinely supporting me in becoming the person I aspire to be? Are my friends hindering my progress or elevating me? You are not merely building habits. You are constructing the very environment where your habits are born. And here is the profound secret: the greater the friction, the harder it is to perform an action. The less friction, the more automatic your habit becomes. Therefore, reduce the friction for beneficial habits. Increase the friction for detrimental ones. Do not just transform your mindset. Transform your environment, and your life will unfailingly follow. Lesson 8: Small wins lead to big victories. This lesson represents the pulsating heart of sustainable transformation. It unveils the greatest secret behind all monumental change, and it is not what most people imagine. You do not require immense motivation. You require consistent small wins. Charles Duhigg explains that individuals do not fail because their dreams are excessively grand. They fail because they overlook the cumulative power of small victories that meticulously build momentum, foster belief, and solidify identity. Let us explore this through one of the most impactful real-life narratives in the book. When Paul O'Neill assumed the role of CEO at Alco, one of America's largest aluminum corporations, everyone anticipated he would prioritize profits, market share, and innovation. However, he astonished the world. In his inaugural public address as CEO, he declared, "We are going to concentrate on one singular objective: safety. I intend to make Alcoa the safest company in the world." Investors were bewildered. Reporters were stunned. People whispered, "He is utterly insane." But O'Neill possessed an insight they lacked. He understood the profound power of small wins. Focusing intently on safety necessitated improved communication between workers and leadership, streamlined reporting systems, enhanced discipline and organizational structure, elevated morale, fewer injuries, and reduced operational downtime. Within just a few years, Alcoa became more profitable than ever before. Not because they directly targeted financial gain, but because they strategically aimed at a small yet incredibly powerful win. This is the hidden secret. One positive habit initiates a powerful chain reaction. You begin journaling, and you naturally become more self-aware. You start walking for 15 minutes daily, and your mood measurably improves. Your food choices become healthier. Your sleep quality enhances. You make your bed every morning, and you commence your day with a victory. You feel a heightened sense of control. You carry that positive energy into every subsequent task. Here is the most critical truth: small wins forge identity. If you meditate for merely 2 minutes a day, you are not just experiencing relaxation. You are actively becoming someone who prioritizes their mental well-being. If you write one sentence in your book each night, you are not merely writing. You are becoming someone who demonstrates unwavering persistence. People often wait for motivation, but motivation is notoriously unreliable. What genuinely works are small, repeatable victories that systematically train your brain to believe, "I can change. I am disciplined. I finish what I start." And once your identity undergoes this fundamental shift, your life transforms permanently. Therefore, do not aim for a massive overhaul today. Aim for one small win. Execute it every single day. Stack these wins. Build unstoppable momentum. And soon, what once seemed impossible will become utterly inevitable. Lesson 9. You have the freedom to change any habit, but only if you accept responsibility. This is the deepest, most challenging, and perhaps most uncomfortable lesson in the entire book. One that many individuals instinctively recoil from. You are not inherently your habits, but your habits have undeniably shaped your life. You were not born with the habit of procrastinating. You were not born addicted to distraction. You did not consciously choose to be lazy, anxious, or emotionally distant. These behaviors were learned. But here is the profound truth: what was learned can be unlearned. What was repeatedly performed can be replaced. What became automatic can be consciously redesigned. But this can only happen if you embrace one crucial action: take full, unequivocal responsibility for what transpires next. This book culminates with a difficult, but ultimately beautiful truth. Regardless of your origins, no matter how entrenched your past habits have been, irrespective of any excuses the world may have presented you, you still possess the inherent power to change your habits and, consequently, to change your life. Let us consider a powerful real-world example from the book. Angie Bachman was a housewife, bored, lonely, and seeking a thrill. She began gambling purely for amusement at first, but soon it morphed into her escape, her all-consuming obsession, her very identity. Over the years, she squandered millions of dollars. Her family was fractured, her reputation irrevocably damaged. She attributed blame to the casino, to stress, to boredom, to the lies she told herself. And yes, the system undoubtedly played a role. Casinos are expertly designed to manipulate habits. They understood her schedule, her vulnerabilities. They offered her lavish perks. They made it incredibly easy for her to succumb. But here is the core teaching of the book: the system may have been unfair, but the decision to continue playing, that was unequivocally hers. Even when she witnessed her devastating losses, even when the guilt became unbearable, even when she recognized she had a severe problem, she persisted because she never paused to declare, "I am responsible for this loop, and I possess the power to change it." This is the fundamental distinction between those who achieve transformation and those who remain perpetually stuck. The individuals who successfully change their habits do not passively await a fair world. They do not blame their phone, their job, their parents, their past, or their partner. They gaze into the mirror and assert, "This is my life, yet I am in control now." You must consciously choose that perspective. No one else can choose it for you. Your brain will relentlessly attempt to operate on autopilot. It will draw you towards the familiar, even if that familiarity is agonizing. But if you deliberately interrupt the loop, if you pause and declare, "Not this time," you reclaim your inherent power. And here is the ultimate secret: your brain does not discriminate about the habits you build. It will automatically automate anything you consistently repeat. So why not automate greatness? Why not program your mind to default to discipline instead of delay, to courage instead of comfort, to consistency instead of chaos? You are merely one decision away from becoming an entirely new person. Not next year, not after you feel completely ready, not when all fear has dissipated, but now, right now. This is your decisive moment to choose actions that your future self will eternally thank you for. Because if you do not actively choose your habits will choose your life for you. And they are indifferent to whether they destroy it. Take responsibility. Rewrite your loop. Choose the life you were destined to live, not merely the one you have been passively repeating. You have just navigated the most crucial transformation map ever conceived. You now possess the undeniable truth. Your life is not governed by luck, nor solely by motivation or willpower. It is profoundly controlled by the cumulative small actions you repeat every single day. And the precise moment you seize control of those actions, your future unfurls with boundless possibilities. You have learned the intricate mechanics of habits. You have learned how to break free from them. You have learned how to construct powerful new ones. You have learned that belief is paramount, that your environment holds immense sway, that small wins are foundational, that keystone habits are game changers, that you are never truly stuck unless you consciously choose to be. Now, it is time to perform an act that most people never undertake. Apply it, utilize it, live it. This message was not just a summary. It was a mirror, and if you listened with an open heart, it reflected a version of yourself you may have forgotten. The one that still believes, the one that still strives, the one that still carries an unextinguished fire within them. That person is still undeniably present. You do not require external permission. You do not need more time. You need one thing to select one habit and begin. One new action, one deliberate decision, one loop rewritten, and your entire life will commence its magnificent shift. It will not be effortlessly easy, but it will be profoundly worth every effort. Now, before you depart, I wish to impart something profoundly important. If this message resonated deep within your heart, if it granted you even a single moment of clarity, if you felt seen, understood, or genuinely inspired, then I extend a heartfelt invitation for you to subscribe. Because on this channel, we do not merely passively read books. We actively construct better lives through their wisdom. We distill the profound insights from pages and transmute them into tangible action, into raw power, into authentic, lasting change. So, press that subscribe button, not just for the anticipation of the next video, but for the emergence of the next, greater version of yourself. Because your story is far from over. It is merely beginning. And the next vibrant chapter commences with one habit, consciously chosen by you. I believe in you. Now, go take that first step and never look back.